These typical items should never be consumed with yogurt. There are 5 risky yogurt combinations that pose a threat to your health. Have you ever considered the possibility that the foods you consume with yogurt could be sabotaging your digestive system? You are not the only one who has been consuming yogurt for the purpose of improving digestion or merely on account of the fact that it is a part of your morning routine. Numerous individuals, particularly those who are getting older, rely on it as a straightforward and natural method to support the wellness of their gut. The majority of individuals, however, are unaware of this fact. In the event that you combine it with the incorrect components, even the healthiest yogurt can be rendered ineffective. In this video, we will discuss 5 common ingredients that people put to yogurt without realizing that they are causing harm to the bacteria that they are attempting to benefit. Some of these combinations may be quietly weakening your gut without causing any immediate symptoms. These combinations include sweets that appear to be harmless as well as certain fruits and beverages that appear to be healthy but are not. Consequently, if you have been consuming yogurt on a daily basis and are still experiencing stomach difficulties, low energy, or inconsistent digestion, you should continue reading until the very conclusion, mainly due to the fact that once you are aware of what to avoid, yogurt can go back to its original purpose, which was to be one of the most straightforward and effective instruments for assisting you in feeling better from the inside out. Now, let's get something going. Sucralose and aspartame are examples of artificial sweeteners that come in first place. Sucralose, aspartame, and acesulfame potassium are 3 of the artificial sweeteners that people inadvertently mix with yogurt. And they are among the most harmful ingredients that individuals combine with yogurt. It is common to discover these in the small packages that are pink, blue, or yellow in color. You might swirl them into your bowl to make plain yogurt more appetizing. Or they may already be incorporated into the yogurts that you purchase at the supermarket that are marketed as being healthy and low in calories. However, here is something that a lot of people don't recognize. The calories are not the only thing that these sweeteners avoid. They have the potential to disrupt your digestive system. The tongue is tricked by artificial sweeteners, which are designed to deceive the tongue without nourishing the body. However, the difficulty is that the microbiome in your stomach is not quite as easily tricked. The helpful bacteria in your intestines will recognize those chemicals as alien substances when they enter your body. On the other hand, rather than fostering the growth of beneficial strains such as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, they begin to upset the equilibrium, lessen the diversity of the bacterial population, and in some instances, they cause an inflammatory reaction. Though symptoms of inflammation might not appear straight away, you might experience a slight increase in the amount of bloating that you normally experience, or your digestion might become erratic. A day of being loose, followed by a day of being sluggish. Nevertheless, the presence of artificial sweeteners over an extended period of time alters the topography of your digestive tract, making it more difficult for the bacteria found in yogurt to live, thrive, and perform their function. In addition to that, this fake reality has another layer. The desire for sugar can be heightened by sweeteners. You have it right. You could find that you are more likely to seek for sugary snacks later in the day if you select a choice that appears to be healthier than alternative options. The dangerous bacteria that are already present in your stomach are given a source of nourishment by sugar, which creates a vicious cycle that is difficult to escape. I once met a man named Harold who was 76 years old and said that he was maintaining his health by eating yogurt first thing in the morning. However, when he mentioned that he was adding 3 packets of sweetener to each bowl, I encouraged him in a gentle manner to give it a try for a period of 2 weeks without using it. But only 2. After the conclusion of that trial, he no longer experienced gas or bloating. His stomach had a lighter sensation. In addition, the only thing that he altered was the removal of the false elements. In the event that you have been incorporating these sweeteners into your yogurt or selecting yogurts that are marketed as sugar-free or diet-friendly, but contain components that end in the letters O or M, it is imperative that you verify the label. There are times when less is more. particularly when it comes to the foods that you put into your stomach. Rather than that, you should go for plain yogurt and enhance it with a touch of fresh honey or real fruit. In the event that you are in need of a little bit of sweetness, the objective is to help the environment. Your beneficial bacteria require not to be progressively poisoned with something that your body has never developed to be able to digest. Mainly due to the fact that when it comes to gut health, the trivial matters pile up, and it might not seem like much to consume a few grams of artificial sweetener on a daily basis. However, it sends a message to your microbiome that you are not wanted in this place. In addition, that is not the message that you intend to convey. To start, there are fruits that are high in acid, such as grapefruit and pineapple. When you first look at it, the combination of fruit and yogurt seems like the ideal combination, naturally occurring, vibrant, and nutrient-dense. In many instances, this is the case. However, not all fruits are compatible with the probiotics that are included in yogurt. In point of fact, some of the most popular options, such as pineapple, grapefruit, and even kiwi, can subtly operate against the benefits of gut healing that you are trying to achieve. These fruits are difficult not only because of their flavor, but also because of the acidity that they contain. When you consume highly acidic fruits, the pH of your digestive environment can be lowered to an excessive degree, which makes it more challenging for the live cultures that are included in yogurt to survive and grow. Since yogurt already contains a trace amount of acid, your body is typically able to tolerate it without any problems. In contrast, when you combine it with acidic fruits, particularly in big quantities, you raise the acidity level in your digestive tract to the point that the good bacteria may become weakened or, even worse, eliminated before they have even had a chance to establish themselves. This indicates that the billions of probiotics that you believed you were providing your body with could be going to waste, as they could be wiped out by the same thing that you put to your breakfast in order to make it healthier. However, the effects are not limited to probiotics alone. The increased acidity can also cause discomfort in the digestive tract for a significant number of elderly people. If you have ever consumed yogurt with pineapple and subsequently encountered symptoms such as bloating, gas, or a sour stomach immediately afterward, you are not imagining it anymore. The fermentation that can occur in the gut as a result of the interaction between the acidic fruit, enzymes, and yogurt made from dairy can cause irritation and a reduction in the body's ability to absorb nutrients when consumed. In my memory, there was a woman named Janice who was 74 years old and she always accompanied her yogurt with a few grapefruit slices. The flavor was delicious, but she detested the way it made her feel after she had consumed it. Uneasy, gassy, and heavy in the stomach. When she switched to low-acid fruits like bananas or baked apples, she experienced a nearly instantaneous improvement in her digestive system. Her digestion became more efficient, and she reported that for the first time in years, she no longer felt as though her stomach was concealing something. The purpose of this is not to steer clear of fruit. Instead of challenging your gut, you should choose fruits that are beneficial to it. There are many delicious options available, including bananas, blueberries, cooked pears, and soft peaches. They are a source of natural sweetness and soft fiber, and they do not cause any disruption to the environment. Live cultures in yogurt must function properly in order to be successful. Therefore, the next time you reach for a handful of fruit to toss into your yogurt, take a moment to pause and consider how your body will react after you have consumed the fruit. If you are experiencing more discomfort than benefits, it is possible that the fruit, and not the yogurt, is the source of the issue. It is possible that just that one little adjustment could be the difference between feeding your gut and fighting it. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. High-protein powders or smoothies come in at number 3 overall. At first, it can appear to be contrary to common sense. Taking everything into consideration, yogurt is already regarded as a rich source of protein. Consequently, the addition of a scoop of protein powder or the consumption of a protein shake in conjunction with it ought to in no way diminish its nutritious worth. Right? No, not quite. In point of fact, if you are over the age of 60 and are attempting to safeguard your digestive system, combining yogurt with high-protein additives can be one of the practices that have the least favorable impact on your gastrointestinal tract. So, here's why. All of the commercial protein powders, regardless of whether they are made from whey, soy, or plant-based ingredients, are subjected to extensive processing. It is common for them to include chemicals, preservatives, artificial flavors, thickeners, or emulsifiers such as carrageenan and gums with their composition. These components are utilized to ensure that the powder is able to be mixed smoothly, improve its flavor, and maintain its shelf life. On the other hand, they are not created with how you feel in mind. Quite the contrary. In fact, they are capable of doing. These powders have a tendency to dramatically slow down digestion when combined with yogurt for consumption. There are times when slower digestion is not beneficial for the bacteria that live in your gut, despite the fact that it may appear to be beneficial in theory. An active and well-balanced digestive tract is ideal for the growth of probiotics. When digestion is slow, however, food stays in the gut for a longer period of time than it should. This creates an environment in which harmful bacteria and yeast can thrive, which can result in symptoms such as gas, bloating, and a sense of heaviness that can continue for several hours. And the rate of digestion is not the only factor to consider. It is possible that the chemical composition of certain protein powders can actually lower the percentage of living cultures that are able to survive in yogurt. It is possible that the addition of isolates, synthetic amino acids, and artificial substances can cause a change in the pH of the gut, which will result in an environment that is difficult for the beneficial bacteria that you are attempting to introduce. I once had the pleasure of working with a man named Frank, who was 68 years old and was in excellent physical condition. He utilized Greek yogurt, banana, spinach, and a large scoop of protein powder in his daily smoothie. However, he consistently expressed his dissatisfaction with the fact that he felt exhausted and bloated after eating breakfast. We took away only one thing, and that was the powder. Within a week, his digestion became more efficient, his bloating went away, and he experienced an unexpected increase in his energy levels. The remainder of his supper was the same as it had been before. This interaction can be much more disruptive for a large number of elderly people, particularly those who are taking medications or experiencing changes in digestion that are associated with aging. A stomach that is already sensitive becomes even more vulnerable when it is saturated with synthetic or overly processed nutrients, regardless of how well-intentioned the individuals who are providing these nutrients may be. So, if you are considering combining your protein supplement with yogurt in order to get an additional healthy boost, you should reconsider your decision. Consider if you are doing it simply out of habit or whether it is actually assisting your body in feeling stronger and more energized on a regular basis. The chances are that your digestive tract would benefit more from actual whole meals, such as an egg on the side, a handful of nuts, or even a little bit of cottage cheese, as opposed to a scoop of powder that contains a long list of components that are difficult to correctly pronounce, mainly due to the fact that simplicity excels when it comes to gut health. As the number of processed layers that exist between you and your nutrition decreases, it becomes simpler for your body to take in the nutrients it requires and let go of the ones it does not require. Caffeinated beverages, such as coffee and tea, come in at number 4. A good many of us begin our day with two comfort foods that we are accustomed to, namely yogurt and a hot cup of coffee or tea. It appears that they are not harmful. It's possible that they could feel like a part of a routine that's both healthful and energizing. On the other hand, The majority of people are unaware of the fact that consuming yogurt in conjunction with caffeinated beverages, particularly when done so on an empty stomach, might subtly disrupt digestion and nullify the advantages that you are hoping to obtain from the active probiotic cultures. The digestive tract is stimulated by caffeine, which is generally found in beverages such as coffee and strong black teas. At first look, it has the appearance of being a positive thing. It's not always the case that stimulation is regulation. Caffeine has the ability to irritate the lining of the stomach and speed up the process of gastric emptying. This means that it causes food to pass through the stomach before it has had a chance to be completely digested. This is especially true as we become older. When this occurs with yogurt, the probiotics may not have sufficient time to settle into your gut and perform their function before being flushed farther along the digestive tract, which frequently occurs before they have had the opportunity to colonize. In other words, you might be ingesting billions of beneficial bacteria, yet you might end up losing the majority of them before they have a chance to make a difference. However, there is an additional layer. Caffeine has the potential to impact the pH of your stomach, causing a temporary increase in acidity. The natural acidity of yogurt can typically be neutralized by the body, but when combined with caffeine, it produces a compounding effect that is even more concentrated. The environment becomes more hostile for sensitive probiotic strains, which decreases their ability to live for a sufficient amount of time to make it into your intestines, which is where they are actually required. There are also some elderly people who discover that this combination makes symptoms such as reflux, bloating, or the uncomfortable sense of having a sloshy stomach that lasts for a longer period of time than it probably should. In addition, it is not only about the discomfort. The fact that two frequent morning items aren't working well together is an indication that your digestive system is having to work harder than it has to. This is a symptom that your digestive system is having to work so hard. A woman named Lois, who was 81 years old at the time, was adamant about her daily regimen consisting of yogurt and tea. But in addition to that, she continued to struggle with gas and digestion that was erratic. We just relocated her tea to the middle of the morning and advised that she drink warm water instead of tea with breakfast because she did not want to give up either the tea or the water. Over the course of a few days, the bloating went away, and the yogurt began to be of assistance once more. On the other hand, this does not imply that you have to completely give up your preferred beverage in the morning. Simply allowing your tummy to breathe some room is all that is required. Without hurrying through the process with a slug of caffeine, give your yogurt the time it needs to work its magic. First, you should try eating yogurt, and then you should wait at least 30 to 45 minutes before drinking your coffee or tea. Alternately, you might simply postpone using coffee until a later time of the day. Simply because, in the end, it is not only about the food that you consume. It all comes down to the combination of things, the timing of those combinations, and how those combinations influence the delicate balance of your digestive system. Moreover, when you take measures to preserve that equilibrium, your stomach will reward you with energy clarity. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. The fifth item is a cold cereal that has sugar added to it. When combined, yogurt and cereal create a flavor that is nearly reminiscent of the past. Crispy, creamy, sweet, and uncomplicated in form. Nevertheless, despite the fact that it can appear to be a well-balanced meal, the addition of the majority of cereals from boxed cereals to your yogurt might be doing more harm than good to your digestive tract, especially when those cereals are loaded with at least one ingredient that your gut bacteria cannot tolerate, which is added sugar. This is the issue at hand. Maltodextrin, cane juice, and glucose solids are some of the deceptive sweeteners that are found in the majority of cereals that are sold in stores. Furthermore, even the cereals that appear to be healthy include significant levels of refined sugar. Corn syrup, or corn syrup. When you combine those ingredients with your yogurt, you are accomplishing two things at the same time. While you are providing food for your harmful bacteria, you are also making it more difficult for your beneficial bacteria to live. Yogurt, particularly when it contains live cultures, is intended to bring about a state of equilibrium in the digestive tract. It does this by introducing beneficial strains that assist improve digestion, reduce inflammation, and build the lining of the gut. However, when you add cereal that is high in sugar to the same bowl, detrimental microbes, such as certain kinds of yeast or bacteria that produce gas, begin to flourish instead. The beneficial bacteria that you have just introduced with your yogurt are being crowded out by these bacteria, which feed on the sugar and reproduce rapidly. What is the end result? It is possible that you will have discomfort, bloating, and gas despite the fact that you believed you were eating something somewhat nutritious. Over time, this imbalance, which is referred to as dysbiosis, might cause your gut lining to become more fragile, that inflammation will develop, and that your digestive system will become more sensitive to foods that were previously inconvenient for you. A man named Al, who was 73 years old at the time, was someone who enjoyed eating cereal and yogurt first thing in the morning. He believed that he was making a good decision when he decided to go for granola that contained natural honey clusters. However, when we took a closer look at the nutrition label, we discovered that each serving contained 19 grams of added sugar. This did not take into account the sugar that he was adding himself on top of that. The improvement in his digestion occurred within a week of switching to plain oats and almonds that had been sliced. What's more, he informed me that it was the first time in years that he had felt light after eating breakfast. Having a crunch with your yogurt is not something that is impossible to do. The idea is to select toppings that are beneficial to your gut rather than ones that do the opposite. You may try chia seeds, unsweetened coconut flakes, crushed walnuts, or even a teaspoon of flax meal as an alternative to cereal that has some amount of sugar. Not only do they give texture and nourishment, but they also prevent the germs that are causing the problem from eating. Because your digestive tract is similar to a garden, the seeds are planted by yogurt, but the weeds are created by sugar. Moreover, you will experience the consequences of your meal turning into an environment in which bad bacteria receive more fuel than the beneficial bacteria. This may not be the case right away, but with time, your instincts will tell you the truth. Consequently, the next time you reach for the box of cereal to sprinkle on your yogurt, you should change the cereal around. Pay attention to the amount of sugar. Inquire within yourself about the message that you are conveying to your body. If the message that you are receiving is not one of sustenance, then it is perhaps that it is time to try something different. To put it simply, when it comes to gut health, even the smallest decisions matter, and what appears to be a harmless breakfast routine could very well be the covert reason why your digestion continues to disappoint you down. Lastly, some thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, I would like to leave you with something that is frequently ignored in all of the discussion that regards the health of the gut. What you put into your body is not the only thing that matters. It all depends on the things that you combine. Even the most nutrient-dense meals can lose their effectiveness, or even worse, cause harm, when they are coupled with substances that are antagonistic to their nutritional value. Yogurt, when consumed on its own, has the potential to be one of the most effective weapons in the fight to heal and strengthen your stomach. It helps produce an environment in the digestive tract that is conducive to the growth of beneficial bacteria, maintains the immune system, and distributes live cultures. However, if you combine it with artificial sweeteners, acidic fruits, protein powders, coffee, or sugary cereals without realizing it, you are sending your body messages that are in direct opposition to one another. And your stomach, which is already exerting a lot of effort to maintain its equilibrium, ends up being confused, irritated, or overwhelmed. The good news is that these are simple solutions. Furthermore, you are not need to give up your yogurt. You only need to surround it with more positive people. So, which of these 5 things did you find to be the most surprising? Tomorrow, do you plan to substitute a different topping for your meal? Perhaps you could try drinking your coffee at a different time of day. It doesn't matter what it is. Little adjustments like these can have a significant effect. Particularly as we become older, when our bodies inevitably become more sensitive to the little exchanges that occur between us. You are deserving of a gut that goes in your direction rather than against you. A body that digests food without any difficulty, absorbs in an effective manner, and assists you in feeling clear, calm, and in control. However, the most important thing is that you have the right to take pleasure in the foods that are intended to heal you without unintentionally nullifying their efficacy. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. In the comment section below, please share one thing that you have learned today and how you intend to put it to use in your life. Happy learning! We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.